Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Jono. Firstly, can I apologise for the lateness of this video. Unfortunately, the camera that I'm recording on now developed a fault and had to be sent away for repair, luckily under warranty. But it meant that I think I've been spoiling you in 4K for too long, because trying to use my webcam at a lowly 1080p, it just felt really poor quality. So I waited until I could complete it on the proper camera. So apologies for that, but I appreciate you sticking with me. Thank you very much. Slight change in format this week. I'm going to look at some software as opposed to a camera, but still photography related. A tool that a lot of photographers will be familiar with, but some perhaps can be a little intimidated by. I want to try and break it down to you, and that's Adobe Lightroom. So just a brief overview of the library window, first of all, in Adobe Lightroom Classic, but obviously the same applies if you're using just the standard Lightroom. And hopefully I can demystify it a little bit for you and show you that it is actually a very useful tool. So enough from me, let's jump straight in and have a look. Okay, so I've opened up Lightroom here, Lightroom Classic, and the screen that I'm going to talk about today is this first library screen that you're presented with. I want to try and keep it simple, but I obviously need to explain a few things. So first of all, Lightroom refers to your main file that holds the photographs as a catalogue. The catalogue I'm showing you here are images that I guess my favorite images of mine, ones that I feature on my website, that sort of stuff. So I call this catalog public, and as you can see, Lightroom has got named it up in the top left here, and it's showing it's a version 11 catalog. As of the previous version of Lightroom to this one, version 10, they started to actually name the catalog files along with the versions, because the structure may change over time. Needn't worry about that too much, but this is the very latest, as of filming, Lightroom Classic version 2022. Or version 11 as they have referred to it. So we've got our catalogue of images. Then within catalogues, we're able to have collections, and these are listed down here. I've got some basic ones. If I just close up smart catalogues for a minute, or smart collections for a minute, I'll need to talk about those later. But I've got some categories of images here that I call collections. So I've named them, for instance, architecture. If I click on that, the image in the library window here then just shows me the images that I've put into that collection. And I'll show you how to make collections and how to arrange your photographs into those in a moment. I can obviously highlight the entire catalogue by clicking all photographs. The last image that I imported into the catalogue is here. And we've also then got some smart collections. So these are automatically created. I'm able to associate colors with images, and I'll explain how that works in a moment. I'm able to rate them. I jokingly rate all mine 5 stars. Why wouldn't I? And so on and so forth. These are automatically generated, and the images are automatically put in them, but you can create more smart collections if you wish. The rest of the collections are ones that I've created myself. These are purely a category that I've assigned to it. So any landscape shots, I automatically move into this this collection here. Over the other side of the window, then, we've got some information about the images. As you can see at the moment, I've selected all landscape here. Across the bottom are all the images that are repeated up here. However, if I select one, you can see it's highlighted down here, and the information on the right now pertains to this image that's highlighted. So some keywords that I have associated with it, which just makes searching for images a lot easier in larger catalogues. It will suggest keywords based on what I've given it before, but obviously I've chosen not to use those. And I've got a keyword set here. I can actually expand out all the keywords I've used. Whoops. Click the button by mistake, all the keywords that I've used in this catalog previously and how many images are associated with each one. So as you can see, this one that I've currently got highlighted, it shows a tick next to it. Okay, and obviously keywords can be as simple or as complicated as you like. Further down then, we've got some metadata that's associated. So all digital images carry a certain amount of metadata, usually things like the make and model of the camera that took the photograph. It will have the date that it was created, dimensions and so on. But Lightroom allows you to put more information in. So I've given the image a title, a little description. Obviously, it automatically puts a copyright on for me because I've chosen it to do that. But you can add more metadata in there if you wish. But we'll come back to that. And then in the middle, obviously, our images themselves. At the moment, I'm showing it in this grid view. The image here, for instance, is saying that it's image number 14 in the catalogue. It's got a 5-star rating, which, as I say, I jokingly put on all my images. I don't really use that feature. The image itself in thumbnail format, and some basic information about here that it has keywords and that it has been adjusted since it was imported into Lightroom, but more on that in a future episode. I can alter the view then to that single image by clicking down here, and it shows me a full-scale version. I can also do, if I've got more than one image selected, I can do a side-by-side comparison and obviously make changes based on that if I wish. Quite a useful feature also is the ability to add people to images. Now, I don't tend to do many portraits, but hopefully Lightroom is searching through here. I don't tend to detect, I don't tend to associate actual people with my public images. If it were private set, family portraits, that sort of stuff, then that's different. But under normal circumstances, any faces that Lightroom detects will be put up here, and then you can associate names with those if you wish. If I just put it back to grid view. Now, if I want to move images around in different categories, different collections and that sort of thing, I can do that here. Like I say, these are all landscape shots. So, for instance, I could actually drag this from landscapes. I could drag it into a different collection and put it in, let's say, under architecture. And as you can see, the number changes. And if I click on architecture, you'll see that image is there. I'm just going to undo that because obviously that's not containing any architecture, so it will be a silly move. But it's as simple as that, dragging and dropping. Now, you're not actually dragging and dropping that particular image file, you're just moving it within Lightroom, and Lightroom will remember those settings. Nothing actually alters on disk. Anything that you do within Lightroom is not committed to the physical disk. It's not written into the image until you decide to commit. It's a non-destructive editing format. All the changes that you make to an image, any adjustments, for instance, that I make to this aren't stored in the file. They're stored in Lightroom until you come to export the file, and then obviously then they're written into it, which is quite a nice feature if you do manage to mess things up. There are some more features within these windows that we can look at. So, for instance, navigator here, I can actually change the size of what I'm looking at. So at the moment, I've got it set to fit to screen. I can put it as 100%, so that's the actual size of the image. And obviously, I can make more adjustments as well. But fitting to screen is normally what I would use. But you'll notice this window up here, alters to reflect what we're actually looking at here. So if I drag around, you're obviously seeing a different part of the image, and it's highlighting that up in this corner here. I can actually publish straight from here to things like Flickr and whatever. I don't tend to do that. What I'll do is when I'm happy with my image, that I've made any adjustments I need to make, put in a description, title, etc., then I can actually export that. And then we've got two buttons down here to do that. So I can export the image, and I'm given lots of options that I can use for actually altering the file before I export. But at this point, any changes that I've made are written to the file rather than just stored within Lightroom. I'll come into exporting and importing in a future episode because it's quite a meaty subject that we need to talk about. Whilst you can only manipulate the images within Lightroom, you can, of course, look at what's physically sitting on the disk as well. If I were to right-click this image here and choose Show in Explorer, then as you can see, the image is there on disk, and they can be manipulated, be renamed, etc., etc. But obviously that will not then translate over to Lightroom unless you resync with the catalog. At the top here, then we have some search filters. We can search for text, so keywords, descriptions, anything, any field regarding the image we can search for. We got an option for attributes. So I mentioned earlier about color attributes or star ratings or whatever. We can select those. Any of the metadata fields can be selected, so we can look at, filter the images by those as well. Right, we've got some links to other modules which I'll talk about in future videos. I've customized the colors on here, which you'll probably notice there's a few things customized perhaps compared to your version. Down here we've got options to extend onto another screen if you've got more than one monitor, and really that's about it for now. So there you go, just a brief overview to start with, but I'm hoping to turn this into a series, so I'll go into more detail, more features, etc. In future episodes. But I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you again for participating in the channel, watching, liking, subscribing. It all really, really is appreciated. So until next time, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again soon.